All right. Hello, everyone. I am Will Plantz, and I went to La Jolla, San Diego, and did a neuroscience of addiction internship with the George Lab. So the George Lab is a lab that is researching the neurobiological mechanisms of addiction and trying to find pharmacological and non-pharmacological treatments so that we can get people to stop being addicted to drugs and alcohol. And they use an animal model, so they're using lab rats to see how these drugs will affect the rats and what drugs we can use to stop them. So this research matters because the cost of substance abuse affects over 250 million people in America alone, which is a huge cost to the nation with, incarcerations and healthcare. So basically, for every $1 spent on addiction research, we can save $12 on people who are addicted and getting incarcerated. So it's really important research that they're doing. And so addiction is a vicious cycle of, binge drinking or binge taking a drug, and then you go into a withdrawal stage, which is really harmful for your health, and then you have a preoccupation and a craving, so you go back to binge drinking. And so basically this is a vicious spiral that gets people more and more addicted to a drug, and it's really hard to break out of. So what the George Lab focuses on mostly is the withdrawal phase. And so I was at the lab with another kid named Max Cantor, and so what we did was a lot of handling these rats, which are really fun, and they're a lot cuter and cuddlier than you'd expect. Rats are homies. Mice are terrible. Let's just say that. And we read a lot of research papers, which was probably one of the most interesting parts of it, because we got to learn about the molecular and behavioral basis of addiction. And then this is one of the test rooms. These are all rat cages that we would run the tests in. And these are called self-administration chambers. So basically what it is, it's a box with two levers in it, and one lever, if they press it, administers a drug, the other administers water as a control. And so by seeing how much they press this button and doing the drug, we can see how addicted they are, and it's a very good model for binge drinking and chronic addiction to drugs. And so what they're doing is they would put these rats into these chambers and get them addicted to drugs. And the drugs tested, we were doing everything. It was cocaine, heroin, nicotine, and alcohol while we were in the lab. And so what they would do is they would get a baseline of these animals, so they would press and they would do the drugs all the time. They were very high rats. And then we would give them a drug or electrostim therapy to see if we could stop them from taking it and take that baseline down. So we participated in a bunch of experiments. This was a rat surgery we were able to watch. This is called an elevated plus maze, which tests the anxiety of a rat, which going through withdrawal, rats become super anxious. And how we test this is if they hang out on these open platforms, then it means they're not anxious. But if they stick in these platforms, they like to be in enclosed spaces, so that means they're super, super anxious. And nicotine withdrawal rats spent almost 100% of their time in these chambers. And this is our whole lab. There is me, Max, and then we had two other interns from the San Diego area. And then we also got to do a little work in the wet lab, and this was taking slices of the rat brains and staining them so that we could see which of the neurons were firing while they were addicted. And this is CFOS, which is basically a buildup of calcium around neurons that are firing chronically. And then we also got to extract some DNA from E. coli, which was pretty cool. These are our mentors. This is Dr. Olivier George, our elusive PI. I saw him 3 times the whole internship, even though we're in his lab. And then this is our whole team, and they're super, super awesome. Outside the lab, did a lot of surfing, or I photographed Max doing a lot of surfing, because I wasn't able to. So that was really fun. And we had an amazing host family, the Fishers, and we were also with Angel in San Diego. So outside the lab was incredible and had a lot of beach time. So thank you all.